Today, we're unpacking something absolutely fascinating. We're diving into this explainer to see exactly how a creator methodically forced an AI to build a highly stylized 45-second cinematic hockey short centered entirely around one core concept: discipline. It's a masterclass, really, not just in prompt engineering, but in using incredibly strict creative boundaries to make a machine understand a totally abstract philosophy. Right off the bat, let's look at the core creative conflict of this whole project. The creator was making a piece about Nick Suzuki, captain of the Montreal Canadiens, and the foundational voiceover script started like this. In the loudest hockey market in the world, Nick Suzuki does not lead with noise. He leads with control. So think about the challenge here. How do you depict a star athlete in this chaotic, high-pressure environment without relying on your typical sports hype? Because AI video generators naturally want to give you the whole shebang: screaming fans, blinding arena lights, massive hits, and high-energy graphics. The creator literally had to build a system to strip all of that away, without even showing the player's actual face. So here is our roadmap for today. 1. Leading without the noise. 2. The power of negative prompts. 3. 4 pillars of hockey stoicism. 4. Pivoting to black and white. 5. Perfecting the symbolic visuals. And finally, 6. Calm is control. Let's get right into it. Section 1. Leading without the noise. To really understand how this short came together, we have to grasp the overarching vision. The creator was absolutely not making a standard highlight reel. They explicitly demanded a cinematic, minimalist documentary aesthetic. They wanted to highlight technical, precise movement over aggression or flashy celebrations. For instance, the very first scene wasn't a player scoring a game-winning goal. Instead, it was just dark, desaturated ice with a single generic skate blade carving a slow, deliberate arc, sending fine snow right toward the camera. It was entirely designed to establish a mood of quiet control and cold isolation long before any of that loud market noise was even introduced. Which brings us to Section 2, the power of negative prompts. As anyone who's ever tinkered with generative AI knows, getting it to be minimalist is incredibly difficult. Left to its own devices, AI naturally wants to crank everything up to 11. To stop this, the creator had to establish strict visual guardrails, telling the AI exactly what it could not include. We're talking no NHL logos, no CH marks for Montreal, no recognizable player likenesses, no jersey numbers, and absolutely no equipment brand names like Bauer or CCM. They even specifically outlawed big hits and celebration visuals. Telling the AI exactly what to avoid was absolutely crucial for maintaining that generic, anonymous, symbolic tone. Because if the AI generated a recognizable face or a corporate logo, the whole illusion of this stoic archetype would instantly fall apart. So by strictly using negative prompts, the creator maintained absolute creative control. This is the secret sauce that prevented the AI from falling back on those typical, noisy sports media tropes. In fact, the negative prompt list was often longer than the actual positive prompt for the image. By fencing the AI in like that, the creator basically forced it to focus entirely on texture, lighting, and simple, deliberate actions. Moving on to Section 3, 4 pillars of hockey stoicism. With those strict guardrails set up, the creator had to tackle the philosophical core of the script, the 4 stoic virtues. But how do you actually show that? Well, instead of just prompting for a player looking courageous, they asked for a macro shot of a taped stick blade tapping dark ice. Discipline wasn't some sweaty workout montage. It was a tight, tactile shot of gloved hands adjusting their grip, focusing on the sheer physical tension. Justice was brilliantly represented by the balanced, perfectly symmetrical stance of a player preparing for a face-off at center ice. These macro shots personified internal control entirely through the physical equipment and the quiet rituals of the game. And to keep the rhythm, each beat lasted exactly 1.5 seconds, perfectly matching the deliberate pacing of the voiceover. Next up, Section 4, pivoting to black and white. Now, even with the best prompts in the world, production rarely goes perfectly, right? The originally approved direction actually used deep, desaturated blues and subtle red glows to create this cold arena atmosphere. But as the generations started rolling in, the creator realized this color palette was causing a bunch of AI artifacts. Specifically, it looked a bit too much like fake team branding, and the motion blur in the backgrounds was just creating a lot of messy visual chaos. So the creator had to make a hard pivot. They instructed the AI to regenerate the scenes in pure monochromatic black and white, using really high contrast chiaroscuro lighting. And honestly, this was a total game changer. Switching to black and white instantly stripped away all that visual chaos. It magically hid the AI's annoying tendency to create fake logos in the shadows, and it perfectly aligned the imagery with the serious Stoic theme. It took the project from just a neat sports edit and elevated it to a high-end minimalist documentary. Let's look at Section 5. Perfecting the symbolic visuals. Even once they were in black and white, the creators still had to fight for absolute perfection. Take the visual for justice we talked about earlier. The AI initially gave this really wonky, unnatural stance, so the creator had to step in and manually iterate. They prompted, move the player slightly farther back, position the stick blade almost in line with the suspended puck, align the blade perfectly centered over the face-off dot. I want you to really notice the immense level of granular detail and spatial awareness going on here. The creator was essentially acting like a microscopic film director, micro-adjusting the AI's framing to generate a perfectly balanced symbol of fairness and rules. And finding the visual for wisdom was even harder. Attempt number 1 was just calm eyes behind a visor, but the creator rejected it right away. It looked way too much like a cheesy visor commercial and showed way too much of the face. Okay, so attempt 2, a coach's strategy clipboard on the ice. Rejected again. Too literal. Nick Suzuki's wisdom isn't about drawing plays on a whiteboard. It's about reading the ice in real time. Finally, they landed on the perfect non-literal symbol, a puck and a stick blade with faint, open passing lanes in the ice, implying vision and quiet decision-making. This just proves that successful prompt engineering isn't just about throwing technical words at a machine, it's about continuously pivoting your core concept until the AI can render it cleanly. Finally, Section 6. Calm is control. This brings us to the final scene, which beautifully ties the entire Stoic theme together. We see this stark, black and white silhouette of a generic player walking away from the camera, heading down a long, dark tunnel toward a clinical white light. Overlaid on this image is the final, unpunctuated text, "Calm is control." Paired with a really slow 3% push and zoom, this closing shot just perfectly encapsulates the overarching theme. It's all about solitary leadership, unwavering focus, and intentionally leaving the noisy, chaotic pressure of the public arena behind. So, what does this all mean for us? The great irony of this entire project is that to create a short about Stoic discipline, the creator had to exercise intense, absolutely uncompromising discipline in their own prompts. They couldn't just casually ask the AI to make a cool hockey video. They had to restrict it, guide it, and correct it, literally pixel by pixel. Think about your own workflows for a second. How can you apply strict constraints and negative prompts, knowing exactly what you do not want, to enforce precise creative control in your own technical endeavors? Because sometimes stripping away the noise is the only way to truly be heard.